How did we get here? An increasing amount of Canadians are crowdfunding to cover basic living expenses. Since 2020, GoFundMe recorded a 274% increase in Canadian campaigns that mention cost of living as a reason they need donations. More than 15,000 fundraisers for essential needs were launched across Canada between January and May 2026, which was an 8% jump from the same period in 2025. But we live in Canada. There's no shortage of social programs meant to help Canadians, so why do they need GoFundMe? I mean, we have the Canada Child Benefit, GST HST credit, Canada Workers Benefit, Canada Training Credit, Employment Insurance, Canada Subsidized Healthcare, and the list goes on and on and on. But yet, the crisis continues. Well, what if I told you that the government support system was a part of the problem? The CBC article that covers this story lists 3 tiers of support systems Canadians typically turn to. Top tier is government support, middle tier is community or nonprofit support, and finally, the bottom tier is personal support like family and friends. According to the professor of finance at McMaster's University, the state support tier catches 60 to 7% of needs for most people, and maybe that's the problem. Currently, if I was to make a chart showing where people turn for support in Canada, it would look something like this. Most people turning to the government, then charities, then personal relationships. What I take from this is that Canadians have been increasingly relying more and more on the government rather than their family and their friends. I take this as a sign of a dying society. In an ideal world, this chart would be completely flipped. People would rely on their family first, then their community, then the government. But somewhere along the line, that flipped. Now, why is that? Well, Canadians are growing more and more isolated. We're busier now. Between 1976 and 2021, the amount of Canadians holding 2 jobs more than doubled. We spend less time with our friends and family. In 1986, almost 48% of people saw their friends on an average day. That dropped to 19.3% in 2022. 1 in 10 Canadians reports feeling lonely almost all the time, with 3 in 10 reporting feeling lonely just sometimes. So if Canadians aren't as connected to their community, they turn to the state. And the thing about the government is it grows based on reliance. The more the public can't seem to do things for themselves, the more it uses that to justify its existence and to grow. It's a self-feeding entity that never shrinks, and it relies on money printing, also known as currency debasement, to grow. That increases inflation and surges costs of living, which makes people's money worth less, which makes them more poor. Then they turn to the government for support, so the more Canadians continue to rely on the government to solve their problems, the more problems they will have, and then it just goes on in an infinite loop until society just completely collapses.